I'm Neil Quilliam. I'm an Associate Fellow in the Middle East North Africa Programme at Chatham House, and I'm Managing Director of Azure Strategy. We just had a very interesting session looking at domestic politics in Iraq and the neighbourhood. There were two key takeaways for me. One is that US reprioritization to Asia has left a gap inside the country. Iran has largely filled that gap and is seen to be the winner in the competition, though China and Russia are also moving into that space. So it's open, it's been vacated. And in a way, that's an ominous thought for Western leaders, at least. On the other hand, something very positive was that it was pointed out that the Iraqi Prime Minister is an insider, not somebody who's lived outside. So you've now got this organic growth, organic politician coming through. We also heard about this younger generation of leaders who are very active, highly engaged, highly organized, and are sort of pushing forward a new national identity which overcomes the sort of sectarian dimension of the past. We also took a look at the role of the judiciary. It's made a number of controversial decisions over the past year. However, it has got an elevated role and status in society. And if it can be guided or moved towards better enabling the private sector or the environment that will allow the private sector to grow, that could be very optimistic for Iraq's future. Another issue that came out was the imposing threat of climate change and the shift towards a post-hydrocarbon world. Iraq is not best placed to maximize that shift and change, whereas the neighborhood, Saudi Arabia and the UAE in particular, whilst having large hydrocarbon endowments, are diversifying at pace and at change. They understand better the threat or the risk of moving their economies into a post-hydrocarbon world. Unless Iraq begins to address that now, it's going to find itself stranded and also outcompeted by its neighbours. It's going to find itself lost in the neighbourhood. One issue that came out was demographics. The birth rate is high in Iraq, and its population has grown from something like 20 million to 40 million in the space of 20 years. Whilst that is a major challenge for any country, it's also a boon. It can help the economy grow as long as the education system matches up to that. And there have been very positive developments in education over the past decade, and particularly over the last 5 years. So the marriage of a growing and extensive and well-suited education system with a growing population can actually be a real boon for the country. So the sense in the room, the sentiment in the room, is that the security environment, while still challenging, has actually improved over the past few years. There's a better sense of stability, and as a consequence, we're seeing more and more visitors, even tourists, going to Baghdad, wandering the streets, frequenting the pastry shops, filling up the hotels. So there has been a discernible shift in the security environment for the past few years, and that seems to be a developing trend.